How long will these disagreements take place? I don't know, but the disagreements will come out as soon as this king dies. So the hadith says that while there is disagreement concerning succession, a man will come out of Damascus. A man will come out of Medina and hurry to Mecca. And he will be someone who is well known, because the people of Mecca will come out to him and offer to give the bay'ah to him as Imam al-Mahdi. And there at the Kaaba he will declare, I am the Imam al-Mahdi. But then, once he declares that he is the Imam, then an army will march from Damascus to attack him. So long as Assad was there, we couldn't understand. But now that Assad had been removed and this jihad had been waged to remove this regime, we're now in a position to do some beneficial analysis. Who are these who have removed Assad? You with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And since we have not as yet seen the moon, we must make the dua. Allahumma barik lana fi Rajabin wa Shaban wa barighna Ramadan. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Our topic is a very exciting one. An Islamic eschatological explanation of regime change in Syria. And we begin with what is eschatology. Imam al-Shafi'i, rahimahullah, he said that this ayah, this surah, Suratul Asr, is so powerful that even if we didn't have the rest of the Quran, this was enough. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر. Allah is taking an oath by the time of Al-Asr. What is Al-Asr? It is the late afternoon. But here in this Quran, in this ayah, it's not the late afternoon of any special day. No. Allah is taking an oath by the late afternoon of history. And the late afternoon of history is Akhiru Zaman. It's the end time. That is eschatology. And he says that when the late afternoon of history comes, Innal insana lafi khusr. All of mankind, not just this ummah, all of mankind would be in a state of loss, drifting. Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jew, Buddhist, wherever you are, you all be drifting in a state of loss. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. The only ones who can survive are those who have faith and who have righteous conduct. This is the foundation with which to respond for the end time. You must have faith and righteous conduct. Then you qualify. Now those who have faith and who have righteous conduct, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ. It is with truth. And the Quran says of itself that it is al-haqqul yaqeen, absolute truth. So it is with truth in the Quran. This is what you need to survive the late afternoon of history. But when you stand up for the truth in the Quran, they're going to come after you. They shut the doors of the masjid on you. They'll tell lies about you. For example, I was surprised to hear about myself that I have said that Jesus was crucified. I said, what? I didn't know that. I didn't know that I said that Jesus was crucified. Eh? It is something interesting. Imran Hosein has said there is a mistake in the Quran. I said, what? I didn't know that. Huh? They tell lies about you. And so when the late afternoon of history comes, and you turn to the Quran, to absolute truth in the Quran, to understand the world and to respond to it, they go come after you. So be patient. Whatever ourselves is sub. So now then, let us turn to the Quran. Let us turn to He who was sent to teach the Quran, to understand the implications of regime change in Syria. Our Prophet, Allah's blessing be upon him, is the most powerful voice in all of history to explain the late afternoon of history, the end time. And he gave a timeline of events that no one has ever given. When I went to Moscow last February and I was narrating this hadith, the Russian foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, was surprised. He didn't know about it. The Prophet said, Umranu Bayt al-Maqdis Karabu Yatrib, that when Jerusalem is center stage in the world, at that time Yatrib or Medina would be in a state of forlorn desolation, playing absolutely no role whatsoever in history. He went on to say, Kharabu Yatrib Khuruj al-Malhama, that when Medina is playing no role, it's forlorn desolation, and Jerusalem is center stage, then the next event that the world will experience is the Malhama, or what is called Armageddon, the Great War. And then he went on to say, Khuruj al-Malhama, Fathul Constantinia. The next event to occur after the Great War would be the conquest of Constantinople. That's why they changed the name. And they made it Istanbul. They did more than that. They prohibit you from using the name Constantinople now. Yeah. So I defy them. And I took the name Constantinople out of the garbage bin and I made it the title of my book, Constantinople in the Quran. And I said to them, put that in your pipe and smoke it. So the conquest of Constantinople is a prophecy of Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. And he praised the commander And he praised the army, لَتَفْتَحَنَّ الْقُسْطَنْطِنِيَّةَ. You will most certainly conquer Constantinople. وَلَنِعْمَ الْأَمِيرُ آمِرُهَا وَلَنِعْمَ الْجَيْشُ ذَلِكَ الْجَيْشُ. And he praised the army and he praised the commander. And the Ottoman Empire in the year 1453, that was a long time ago, 600 years ago. But the Malhama has not yet taken place. The Armageddon, the Great War, has not yet taken place. Anybody differs with me? Anybody differs with me? All right. So the Ottoman Empire conquered Constantinople in 1453. And there are some foolish people, and that's the softest word I could use, foolish people, who are claiming that the conquest of Constantinople by the Ottoman Empire in 1453 fulfilled the prophecy. And that's wrong, because the prophecy is that the conquest of Constantinople is the next event after the Milhama. And then he went on to say, Fathul Constantiniya Khurujud Dajjal. That when the Muslim army conquers Constantinople, after that, then the next event to occur would be that Dajjal will now appear in human form. And when he does, he will appear as a Jew and as a young man, powerfully built. And he'll have the sideburns which the Torah has insisted you must keep, the sideburns. And he will stand up in Jerusalem and declare, I am the Messiah. And the prophet said about him, he sees with one eye, the left eye. The right eye is blind. It looks like a bulging grape. But your Lord is not one-eyed. So when Dajjal stands up in Jerusalem and he declares, I am the Messiah, and we say, that is Dajjal. There are others who will say, no, you're wrong. This man sees with two eyes. He can't be Dajjal. He's seeing with two eyes. This is the people with the white thread and the black thread underneath the pillow. When Allah's messenger said that Dajjal sees with the left eye symbolizes external sight. And when he's blind in the right eye, the blind right eye symbolizes internal blindness. So he will be right. This is Dajjal. This is the timeline. And it is only when the Malhama has occurred, only when the conquest of Constantinople has occurred, only when Dajjal has appeared in human form, only then will the time come for the true Messiah to return. The true Messiah is Jesus, the son of Maryam, Nabi Isa alayhi salam. But Allah sent him to Bani Israel. This is in the Quran, twice in the Quran. And we cannot change what Allah did, can we? No, we can't. If Allah says, I sent him to Banu Israel, can we say, no, 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 he sent to this ummah? Answer me, Benoni. Answer me. If Allah says, I sent him to Banu Israel, he says that twice in the Quran. Can you change that? And can you say, no, 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 he's coming back to this ummah? Who is there so foolish? Who is there so foolish to try to change what is in the Quran? But not only is he coming back to his ummah, but more than that, Allah says, I taught him the Quran. Why would Allah teach Nabi Isa alayhi salam the Quran 600 years before the Quran was revealed? Answer, because he's coming back, that's why. And when he comes back, he has his ummah, of which he is the leader, but he also has this ummah, Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, this ummah as well, because he taught the Quran. So this ummah has to be organized in preparations for his return. And that is the evidence from the Quran for Imam al-Mahdi. That in order for Nabi Isa alayhi salam to return, Allah must first send the Imam, and then the Republic of Turkey, and the Republic of Egypt, and the American Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the American Republic of Pakistan. All of these will disappear. And the Khilafah state will be restored. No Muslim can do that. Only the Imam can do that. And so now, the Imam will be sent by Allah to prepare the way for Nabi Isa alayhi salam to return. But events that have occurred in Syria recently are connected with the subject of Islamic eschatology. Because in Syria, for the longest while, you had a government which was Alawi. Alawi, not Sunni. It started with Hafiz al-Assad. The French chose him, and the French put him there. And then his son Bashar al-Assad took over from him. And this was not representative government. No, it was a dictatorship. But we must give credit where credit is due. That although the regime of Assad was not representative government, yet it had the profile of resisting Israel. Yes, it was resisting Israel. Like Iran is resisting Israel, like Yemen is resisting Israel, but not Saudi Arabia. I used to say 25 years ago that Saudi Arabia and Israel are sisters. I was wrong. 25 years ago, they were only cousins. Now they're sisters. Now they're sisters. And all the rest of the Arab world is following suit, except Syria and Libya and the Gaddafi. So they had to get rid of Libya. And they did it, the Western world. They did it. And they killed him. They didn't mind that Libya is now in a mess. What they wanted to do was to get the government of Libya to submit to Israel. Every Arab government must submit to Israel because Israel wants to rule the world. So what was left was Syria and Iran, but Iran is not Arab. So they wanted to get rid of Assad, and they created ISIS. I call them Dajjal's warriors. And for 10 years, Russia was very courageous. It could have led to world war, but Russia intervened in Syria and very courageously resisted these ISIS warriors. And as a consequence, Syria did not become another Libya. This is giving credit to the Syrian government for resisting Israel. That does not mean that we do not recognize that the Syrian government was not representative. It was an Alawi government. But our Prophet said that a Muslim Khalifa would die. This is Sahih Muslim. And this is Akhiru Zaman, the late afternoon of history. And when this Khalifa dies, there would be disagreement concerning succession. I came to the conclusion long ago that this did not represent that the Khilafah state will be restored. No. Our Prophet was simply speaking about a Muslim ruler who will die. And Hizb ut-Tahrir differed with me, never mind. And I said it was a Saudi king who will die. And after 25 years, most people now agree with me that a Saudi king will die. And when he dies, there will be disagreement concerning succession. And we can see that when Salman dies and Mohammed bin Salman takes over, then the fireworks are going to start within the Saudi royal family. How long will these disagreements take place? I don't know, but the disagreements will come as soon as this king dies. So the hadith says that while there is disagreement concerning succession, a man will come out of Damascus. A man will come out of Medina and hurry to Mecca. And he will be someone who is well known, because the people of Mecca will come out to him and offer to give the bay'ah to him as Imam al-Mahdi. And there at the Kaaba he will declare, I am the Imam al-Mahdi. But then, once he declares that he is the Imam, then an army will march from Damascus to attack him. So long as Assad was there, we couldn't understand. But now that Assad has been removed and this jihad has been waged to remove this regime, we're now in a position to do some beneficial analysis. Who are these who have removed Assad and waged this jihad? When the regime in Syria fell and Assad had to flee to Moscow, and these jihadists took over in Damascus, the Israeli Prime Minister was boasting. Netanyahu was boasting. We are the ones who brought regime change in Syria, indicating they was the Israeli Mossad at work. Does anyone differ with me? Does anyone differ with me? Good. Not only did Israel boast about the regime change, we did it, but the American government of Joe Biden was boasting as well. Biden said, we did it. United States brought about the change in Syria, which indicates that the CIA was involved in regime change in Syria. Does anyone differ with me? And so now, this was not a valid jihad. This was a Israeli Mossad jihad, and this was a CIA jihad. Does anyone differ with me? I don't think Benoni will differ with me. And so this was a bogus jihad. And so now we can expect that this regime, which has taken over in Syria, will continue to take control of Syria and rule over Syria until the Imam comes. And when the Imam comes, these are Israel's puppy dogs. So Israel will tell them, go and fight the Imam. The Prophet said that when this disagreement is taking place concerning succession, an army will come out of Damascus, and that army will march to Mecca to attack the Imam. And when that army passes Medina on the way to Mecca, the earth will open and swallow that army. And so now it's easy for us who study Islamic eschatology to recognize that it is these Israeli puppy dogs who now rule over Syria. They are the ones who will come to attack the Imam, and the army will be swallowed by the earth. And when that happens, it will confirm this is not a CIA Mahdi. This is the real Imam al-Mahdi. And then another army will attack it from the Quraysh, from the Kalb, a tribe called the Kalb. But it is almost impossible after 1400 years or more to still identify today the tribe of the Kalb. So it is possible that Allah is not speaking about Kalb as a tribe, but Kalb as a dog. And the Imam will defeat that army. And once he defeats that army, goodbye to Saudi Arabia. Goodbye. Saudi Arabia will return to the garbage bin from where it came out in the first place. If you say this in Cape Town, you could be in trouble, because there's so many who get their salaries from the Saudis. And this Khilafah state will be restored. And when the Khilafah state is restored, with the Imam as the leader of that Khilafah state, That is what Allah wants, to send back the Messiah, Nabi Isa alayhi salam. I have given you in a nutshell the Islamic eschatological implications of regime change in Syria. There's more we can talk, but it'll take too long.